Zen is often seen as something mysterious, reserved for monks in temples or people sitting in deep meditation. But in truth, Zen is not something distant. It is not limited to special places or rituals. Zen is about living fully in this very moment, no matter where you are or what you're doing. Imagine you're drinking a cup of tea. If your mind is focused only on the warmth of the cup, the aroma of the tea, and the sensation of each sip, you're experiencing Zen. But if you're drinking tea while checking your phone, thinking about work, or worrying about tomorrow, then the moment is lost. Zen is about being present, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally as well. In our modern world, distractions are everywhere. Our phones, emails, and social media pull our attention in many directions. We often move from one task to another without fully experiencing any of them. This leads to stress, exhaustion, and a feeling that life is passing too quickly. Zen offers a different way. It teaches us that peace is not found in doing more or achieving more, but in fully experiencing each moment as it is. Think about walking. Normally, we walk to get somewhere. We think about our destination, or we rush because we are late. But what if, just for a moment, we simply walk to walk? Not to reach a place, but just to feel the ground beneath our feet, the air against our skin, and the movement of our body. This is Zen in everyday life. It is not about stopping all activity, but about bringing full awareness to whatever we are doing. Another simple example is washing dishes. Many people see this as a boring task, something to finish quickly. But Zen invites us to feel the water on our hands, the smooth surface of the plates, and the simple motion of cleaning. When we do this, even ordinary tasks can become a source of peace and clarity. Zen is not about changing your life completely. It is not about rejecting technology or modern comforts. Instead, it is about changing the way you experience life. It is about finding meaning and beauty in simple things. The key is to start small. Choose one activity today, eating, walking, or even breathing, and give it your full attention. Notice how it feels. That is where Zen begins. Modern life is filled with complexity. We have too many choices, too much information, and too many things demanding our attention. Our minds are always busy, moving from one thought to another, worrying about what we need to do next. This constant activity creates stress and confusion. But Zen teaches us that simplicity can bring clarity and peace. Simplicity does not mean living with nothing. It does not mean giving up all modern conveniences. Instead, it means focusing on what is truly important and letting go of what is unnecessary. Imagine a cluttered room. When a room is filled with too many objects, it is hard to move freely. Our minds work the same way. When we hold on to too many worries, too many desires, or too much information, we feel overwhelmed. By simplifying, we create space, both in our environment and in our minds. One way to practice simplicity is to look at our daily routines. How many things do we do out of habit, without thinking? How many of them truly bring value to our lives? Sometimes we buy things we do not need, say yes to commitments we do not enjoy, or fill our time with activities that leave us feeling empty. Zen encourages us to ask, is this necessary? Does this add value to my life? If not, perhaps it is time to let it go. Simplicity also applies to how we think. Many people spend their days worrying about the past or the future, but Zen teaches that the present moment is enough. We do not need to complicate things by overthinking. When we eat, we should eat. When we rest, we should rest. When we speak, we should say only what is needed. By reducing unnecessary thoughts and actions, we create a clearer and calmer mind. Some people fear simplicity because they think it means losing something. But in reality, simplicity is freedom. When we own fewer things, we worry less about them. When we have fewer commitments, we have more time for what matters. When our minds are not filled with distractions, we can focus on what is truly important. To start, choose one small area of your life to simplify today. Maybe clean one part of your home, turn off unnecessary notifications, or say no to something you do not truly need to do. Notice how it feels. Clarity and peace do not come from adding more. They come from letting go. Many people strive for perfection. They want their work, their relationships, and even themselves to be flawless. But perfection is an illusion. Nothing in life is perfect, and nothing lasts forever. Zen teaches us to embrace imperfection and transience, not as weaknesses, but as the natural flow of life. In Japan, there is a concept called wabi-sabi. It is the beauty of things that are imperfect, incomplete, or aged. A cracked teacup, a fading autumn leaf, or a weathered wooden door. All of these have their own quiet beauty. They remind us that nothing stays the same, and that is what makes life special. If everything were perfect and unchanging, life would lose its depth and meaning. Think about your own experiences. Have you ever looked at an old photograph and felt a sense of warmth, even if the moment it captured was imperfect? Or have you ever found beauty in the way a flower wilts, knowing that its life is short? These moments teach us that imperfection is not something to fix. It is something to appreciate. This idea applies to people as well. Many people feel pressured to be perfect, to always say the right things, to never make mistakes, to meet all expectations. But this pressure only creates stress. Zen encourages us to accept ourselves as we are, flaws and all. Growth is important, but it does not mean we must be perfect. When we accept our imperfections, we feel lighter, freer, and more at peace. The same is true for change. Everything in life is temporary. Our feelings, our successes, our struggles. Sometimes we hold on tightly to what we love, fearing change. But Zen teaches us that change is natural. A flower blooms, then fades. The seasons shift. Even the strongest mountains are slowly shaped by wind and water. Instead of resisting change, we can learn to flow with it, knowing that each moment is valuable because it will not last forever. To bring this into daily life, notice the small imperfections around you. The wrinkles on an old book, the uneven brushstrokes in a painting, the way the sky changes at sunset. Instead of seeing them as flaws, see them as unique marks of time and experience. Then turn inward. Accept that you too are always changing. You do not need to be perfect. You only need to be present. The modern world moves fast. From the moment we wake up, we are surrounded by noise. Notifications, conversations, responsibilities, and endless tasks. People rush from one thing to another, always busy, always thinking about the next thing. But Zen teaches that true clarity and peace come not from doing more, but from embracing stillness. Stillness does not mean doing nothing. It does not mean avoiding responsibilities or escaping from life. It means creating moments of quiet, where the mind can settle, where we can simply be. Imagine a pond. When the water is disturbed, it becomes cloudy, and we cannot see through it. But when the water is still, it becomes clear. The same is true for the mind. One simple way to practice stillness is to pause. Just for a moment, stop what you're doing. Take a deep breath. Listen to the sounds around you. Feel your body, your breath, the space you are in. This small pause can bring immediate clarity. It allows you to return to the present moment instead of being lost in endless thoughts and distractions. Another way to embrace stillness is through solitude. Many people fear being alone. They fill their time with noise, TV, social media, conversations, because silence feels uncomfortable. But when we allow ourselves to be alone with our thoughts, we begin to understand ourselves more deeply. We notice the patterns of our minds, the emotions we carry, the things that truly matter to us. Stillness is also about how we approach daily life. Instead of rushing through tasks, we can slow down and do them with full awareness. Eating without distraction, walking without hurry, listening without thinking of what to say next. These small acts of stillness change the way we experience life. They transform ordinary moments into something deeper and more meaningful. Some may say, "I don't have time to be still. My life is too busy." But stillness is not about time. It is about intention. Even a few seconds of stillness can bring a sense of peace. It is not about escaping from life, but about fully engaging with it. The next time you feel overwhelmed, pause. Just for a moment, let everything settle. Notice how stillness, even in the middle of a busy world, has the power to bring clarity and peace. Many people go through life without truly experiencing it. Their bodies are in one place, but their minds are somewhere else, thinking about the past, worrying about the future, or distracted by countless thoughts. But Zen teaches that life happens only in the present moment. The past is gone, and the future has not yet come. The only thing that is real is now. Being fully present does not mean ignoring the past or future. It means giving your full attention to whatever you are doing in this moment. When you eat, taste the food. When you listen, truly listen. When you walk, feel each step. This may sound simple, but in reality, most people do the opposite. They eat while watching TV, listen while thinking about their response, and walk while checking their phones. As a result, life feels rushed and disconnected. Think about the last time you had a conversation. Were you fully there, or were you also thinking about something else? True presence means not just hearing words, but feeling the emotions behind them, seeing the expressions, and giving the other person your full attention. When we do this, relationships deepen. People feel heard and understood. Even simple conversations become meaningful. Being present also changes how we experience ordinary activities. Washing dishes, drinking tea, or tying our shoes. These are things we do every day, but we rarely pay attention to them. When we bring full awareness to these moments, we discover a quiet richness in them. The warm water on our hands, the sound of a spoon against a cup, the simple act of breathing. All of these are reminders that life is happening now. Some people believe they need to escape to a quiet place to be present. But true presence does not depend on the environment. It is possible to be fully present anywhere, even in a noisy city or a busy office. The key is to return to the moment, again and again. When you notice your mind drifting, simply bring it back to the sounds around you, back to your breath, back to whatever you are doing. A good way to practice this is to choose one daily activity and do it with complete presence. It could be drinking coffee, brushing your teeth, or even unlocking a door. Pay attention to every detail. Feel it, hear it, experience it fully. When we are present in each moment, life itself becomes more alive. Many people believe that happiness comes from holding on to success, to relationships, to material things, to ideas of how life should be. But in reality, attachment often leads to suffering. When we attach ourselves too tightly to something, we create fear, the fear of losing it. Zen teaches that true peace comes not from clinging, but from letting go. Non-attachment does not mean we should not care. It does not mean we should give up everything or stop loving people. It simply means that we do not depend on things outside of ourselves for happiness. Imagine holding a handful of sand. If you grip it too tightly, the sand slips through your fingers. But if you hold it gently, it stays in your palm. This is the essence of non-attachment, learning to hold life with an open hand. Many people attach their happiness to external things, money, status, or even the approval of others. But these things are always changing. No matter how much we achieve, there is always more to want. No matter how much people praise us, there is always the possibility of criticism. If our happiness depends on things we cannot control, we will always feel unstable. But when we let go of the need for control, we experience a deeper kind of freedom. Non-attachment also applies to thoughts and emotions. Sometimes we hold on to past regrets or future worries, playing them over and over in our minds. But thoughts are like clouds. They come and go. We do not need to hold on to them. When we learn to observe our thoughts without being controlled by them, we become lighter. In relationships, non-attachment allows love to be free. If we try to control or possess others, love becomes a burden. But when we love without clinging, relationships grow naturally, without fear or pressure. We appreciate each moment with others, without the anxiety of losing them. Practicing non-attachment does not mean we stop caring. It means we learn to appreciate things without needing to possess them. The next time you feel frustration or sadness, ask yourself, what am I holding on to? Is it an expectation, a fear, or a desire for control? Then take a deep breath and let it go. Life becomes lighter when we stop grasping and start flowing. In the modern world, many people feel disconnected from nature. They spend most of their time indoors, surrounded by technology, following strict schedules. But Zen teaches that nature is not something separate from us. It is part of who we are. By observing nature, we can learn how to live with greater peace and balance. Nature follows its own rhythm. The sun rises and sets without hurry. The seasons change without resistance. Trees do not rush to grow, and rivers do not struggle to flow. Everything moves in harmony with its own nature. But human beings often resist this natural flow. They try to control everything, forcing life to fit their expectations. This struggle creates stress and frustration. Zen encourages us to move with life, rather than against it. Just as water flows around obstacles instead of fighting them, we can learn to accept change instead of resisting it. When plans do not go as expected, when people behave differently than we want, or when life takes an unexpected turn, we can choose to flow with it, instead of feeling trapped by disappointment. Spending time in nature helps us remember this wisdom. Walking in a forest, listening to the sound of the wind, or watching waves move in and out, these experiences remind us of something deeper than words. Nature does not ask us to be anything other than what we are. It simply exists, fully present in each moment. When we spend time in nature, our minds naturally become calmer, our thoughts slow down, and we feel a deep sense of connection. Even in a busy city, we can find ways to connect with nature, noticing the sky, feeling the breeze, touching a tree, or even just watching the rain fall. These small moments help us remember that we are part of something greater. We do not need to control everything. We only need to move with life as it is, just as nature does. The next time you feel stressed or overwhelmed, take a moment to look at the natural world around you. Watch the clouds, listen to the birds, or feel the warmth of the sun on your skin. Let nature remind you that life is not a race to be won, but a journey to be experienced. When we live in harmony with the flow of life, peace comes naturally. Many people believe that strength comes from force, from pushing harder, speaking louder, or proving oneself. But Zen teaches that true strength is often quiet and gentle, like water that slowly shapes mountains, or the soft touch of the wind that changes the landscape. Gentleness has the power to create deep and lasting change. In daily life, people often react with force when they face difficulties. When someone disagrees with them, they argue. When things do not go their way, they try to control the situation. But force creates resistance. The harder we push, the more tension we create, both within ourselves and in the world around us. Zen encourages a different way, responding with gentleness instead of aggression. This does not mean being passive or weak. It means acting with calmness, patience, and understanding. When someone speaks harshly to us, we do not need to respond with anger. When a problem arises, we do not need to react with frustration. Instead, we can pause, breathe, and choose a response that brings peace rather than conflict. Nature teaches us this lesson. A tree bends with the wind instead of breaking. A river flows around obstacles rather than stopping. In the same way, when we meet challenges with flexibility and patience, we remain strong without becoming rigid. True power comes not from forcing things to be a certain way, but from adapting to each moment with clarity and wisdom. This idea also applies to how we treat ourselves. Many people try to improve by being hard on themselves, criticizing their mistakes, or pushing themselves too much. But real growth happens with kindness. Just as a plant needs gentle care to grow, we also need patience and self-compassion. When we stop fighting against ourselves, we create space for natural growth. One way to practice gentle strength is through small actions. The way we speak, the way we listen, the way we move through the world, each of these can be done with kindness and care. A soft word can calm an argument. A small act of patience can prevent stress. A quiet moment of understanding can change a relationship. Gentleness is not weakness. It is a deeper kind of strength, one that does not need to force or control. The next time you face a challenge, try responding with softness instead of tension. See how much more powerful gentleness can be. Many people think that awareness is something special, something that requires deep study, long hours of meditation, or a quiet retreat. But Zen teaches that awareness is always available, in every moment, through the simplest activities of daily life. It is not about escaping from the world, but about fully engaging with it. Everyday actions, eating, walking, washing dishes, opening a door, are often done without thought. The mind is somewhere else, lost in memories, worries, or plans for the future. But when we bring full attention to these small actions, they become opportunities for awareness. Zen reminds us that even the most ordinary moments can be meaningful if we are truly present. Imagine eating a meal. Often people eat quickly while watching TV or scrolling on their phones, barely noticing the taste of their food. But what if instead we simply ate? What if we noticed the texture, the flavors, the warmth of each bite? This simple shift changes a routine activity into a moment of presence. Walking is another example. Most people walk with their minds elsewhere, thinking about where they need to go or what they need to do next. But Zen invites us to walk with awareness. Feel each step. Notice the ground beneath your feet, the movement of your body, the air around you. Walking is not just a way to get somewhere. It is an experience in itself. Even small actions, like washing hands or making tea, can become moments of mindfulness. Instead of rushing, we can slow down. Feel the water, hear the sound, notice the motions of our hands. These are not just tasks to complete. They are opportunities to connect with life as it happens. Some might ask, why does this matter? Why should I focus on small things? The answer is simple. Because life is made of small moments. If we are not present for them, we miss life itself. Awareness does not need to be difficult. It is about shifting our attention to what is happening now. Try choosing one daily activity and giving it your full awareness. Whether it is drinking a cup of coffee, tying your shoes, or folding laundry, do it slowly and with full attention. Notice the details. Feel the experience. When we cultivate awareness in simple moments, we bring more presence, peace, and depth into our entire lives. Life is full of challenges. Some are small, like daily frustrations and setbacks. Others are much bigger: loss, failure, uncertainty. When difficulties arise, many people react with stress, anger, or resistance. But Zen teaches that struggles do not have to be a source of suffering. Instead, they can become opportunities for growth and deeper understanding. One of the key lessons of Zen is acceptance. This does not mean giving up or ignoring problems. It means seeing things as they are, without unnecessary resistance. When we resist reality, when we wish things were different, when we fight against what is happening, we create suffering. But when we accept what is in front of us, we find clarity and strength. Imagine a heavy storm. If a tree is too rigid, it may break. But if it bends with the wind, it survives. In the same way, when challenges come, we can remain flexible. We can adjust, adapt, and move with life rather than against it. Another lesson from Zen is the power of perspective. Often, what makes a challenge difficult is not the situation itself, but how we see it. A setback at work, a disagreement, or a difficult decision. These can feel overwhelming if we focus only on what is wrong. But if we step back, take a breath, and look with fresh eyes, we may see new possibilities. Zen also teaches that everything is temporary. No challenge lasts forever. Just as the seasons change, difficult times also pass. When we remember this, we do not feel as trapped by our struggles. We learn to face them with patience, knowing that nothing stays the same. One way to apply this in daily life is to pause before reacting. When something goes wrong, instead of immediately becoming frustrated or anxious, take a deep breath. Ask yourself, is my reaction helping? Can I see this situation in a different way? This simple habit can change the way we handle difficulties. Facing challenges with a Zen mindset does not mean avoiding problems. It means meeting them with calmness, flexibility, and wisdom. The next time life presents a difficulty, try to approach it with acceptance and a clear mind. You may find that the challenge itself is not as difficult as the struggle against it. Many people spend their lives chasing happiness. They believe they will be happy when they achieve success, earn more money, or find the perfect relationship. But Zen teaches that true contentment does not come from external things. It is not something we need to search for. It is already within us, in this very moment. One reason people struggle with contentment is that they always want more. When they reach one goal, they immediately look for the next. When they get something they desire, they soon want something else. This cycle never ends. It creates stress and dissatisfaction, because happiness is always somewhere in the future, never in the present. Zen encourages us to see things differently. Instead of always looking for what is missing, we can appreciate what is already here. Contentment is not about stopping growth or giving up ambition. It is about finding peace in the present moment, even as we continue to move forward. Think about something simple, like drinking a cup of tea. If we are fully present, we can enjoy its warmth, its taste, the feeling of holding the cup. In that moment, there is nothing missing. But if we drink tea while thinking about other things, checking messages, worrying about work, we do not experience the moment fully. We miss the small joys that are already here. Contentment also comes from letting go of comparison. Many people feel unhappy because they compare their lives to others. They see what others have and feel they are lacking something. But Zen reminds us that each life is different, and true happiness does not come from measuring ourselves against others. It comes from understanding that what we have is enough. This does not mean we should not have goals or dreams. But it means we should not believe that happiness is always somewhere else. If we are not content now, we will not be content when we reach our next goal. The habit of wanting more will continue. But if we learn to appreciate the present, we can experience happiness at any moment. A simple way to practice contentment is gratitude. Each day, take a moment to notice something good, something small, like the sound of the wind, a kind word, or the comfort of sitting in a quiet space. When we recognize these simple joys, we realize that happiness is not something to chase. It is already here, waiting for us to notice it. Many people search for meaning in life. They believe it comes from great achievements, wealth, or recognition. But Zen offers a different perspective. Life's meaning is not something to find, but something to experience in each moment. A meaningful life is not measured by external success, but by how we live each day with awareness, presence, and peace. In modern society, people often focus on the future. They think, one day, when I have more time, when I reach my goals, when I have the perfect situation, then life will be meaningful. But Zen teaches that meaning is not in some distant place. It is here, now. It is in the way we wake up in the morning, in how we interact with others, in the way we approach even the simplest tasks. A meaningful life does not have to be extraordinary. It can be found in small moments, sharing a meal, feeling the warmth of the sun, listening to someone with full attention. When we bring mindfulness to everyday life, even ordinary moments become rich with meaning. One of the deepest teachings of Zen is that we do not need to become someone else to find meaning. We do not need to wait for the perfect conditions. Who we are right now, in this moment, is enough. The key is to live with sincerity, to do each thing with full presence, and to appreciate the life we already have. Another aspect of a meaningful life is connection, not just with others, but with the world around us. When we live with awareness, we see that we are not separate from life, but part of a greater whole. The way we move through the world, the way we speak, the way we treat others, all of these create ripples that extend far beyond what we can see. So how can we apply this in daily life? Start by bringing full awareness to what you are doing. When you speak, speak with kindness. When you work, work with focus. When you rest, rest fully. Do not wait for meaning to come from outside. Create it in how you live each moment. A Zen approach to a meaningful life is simple. Be present, be aware, and appreciate each moment as it is. Life is not something to figure out. It is something to experience, fully and deeply, right here, right now. Zen is not a distant philosophy. It is not something limited to temples or deep meditation. It is a way of living, one that brings clarity, peace, and balance into each moment. It is about simplicity, presence, and moving with life rather than against it. Over the course of these discussions, we have explored many aspects of Zen: embracing imperfection, finding stillness, letting go of attachments, and discovering meaning in ordinary moments. But Zen is not something to understand only with the mind. It is something to experience. Even the smallest shift in awareness, truly tasting a sip of tea, feeling the ground beneath your feet, or listening deeply to another person, can bring you closer to this way of being. The beauty of Zen is that it does not require drastic changes. You do not need to live in a monastery or remove yourself from the modern world. Zen is already present in your daily life. It is in the way you wake up, the way you breathe, the way you appreciate the simplest things. The key is not to search for something outside of yourself, but to recognize what is already here. As you continue on your journey, I hope these ideas stay with you, not as rules to follow, but as gentle reminders. Life does not need to be rushed. Happiness does not need to be chased. Peace is not something far away. It is in this moment, waiting to be noticed. I also want to take a moment to express my gratitude. Your time, your attention, and your presence here mean a great deal. If you have found these teachings valuable, I deeply appreciate your support, whether through a like, a comment, subscribing to this channel, or even through super thanks. Your engagement helps share these ideas with others, and for that, I am truly grateful. Thank you for being here. May each step you take be filled with awareness, and may you find peace in the simplicity of the present moment.